Welcome back to Fred Lane Field. The start of the second half, it was an onside kick attempted by FCA, and FCS recovered at the 47-yard line. They're in Falcons territory, and the Knights have it back to start out the second half. We didn't have a chance to talk to the referees and clarify what happened before the end of the second half. It's all good, of course. Spencer Thompson and Trent Legate on call here for 8-Man Extreme for Rivalry Night. And a scoring update, it's 42-20, not quite halftime yet in Antioch, as a rush up the middle, a gain of about 5 yards in the play for the Knights. So the Christian Community Colts are leading almost at halftime. So if the score does hold up, then Christian Community would get first place, South Haven second place, and Lighthouse would be in the bowl game. The North seeds would be locked if Christian Community were to win, but if Lighthouse does come back and win, then it's a coin toss for all the teams in the North as Cornett scrambles in the backfield, brought down by Weeks and Minor for a sack. 3rd down and 10. And now as we're looking right now, we haven't gotten a scoring update from Swanee Webb, but Swanee is leading, I believe it was 20-7 the score. So if that holds up, if Swanee wins, they beat Webb. If the FCA wins this game, it's a 3-way coin toss for first, second in the bowl. But if FCS wins, then Swanee would be first place, Webb would be second, and FCS would have the bowl game.
So I just want to go. Let's say Lighthouse beats South Haven. Here, I'll talk about after this play.
Yeah, so we'll see. Here's a rush by Cornett. Cuts into the middle. Cornett going the other way just to avoid all of them, and Cornett, avoiding a tackle, dives for the first down. Eli Cornett showing more and more how skilled he is as a freshman in 8-man football.
He's starting to get that rhythm. He's starting to get that feel. I mean, usually it takes about 3 games, but he knows he has to get that feel real quick. I mean, real quick. So he's like, I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go this way. So.
And you were saying about South Haven?
Yeah, let's say Lighthouse beats South Haven. And then they go on, they lose to CCS. Is that a coin toss?
No, they've already played South Haven. As a rush up the middle there, 34, Joshua Sperry carried for about 5 yards. So you're asking if Lighthouse had beat South Haven in the play, if they had won against South Haven last week, they would be guaranteed in the playoffs. South Haven would be guaranteed in the bowl game. And South Haven would be in the bowl game, and Lighthouse would only be playing for first or second place. They would be playing for who would be hosting a home game in the semis. So that scenario out. So Lighthouse still has a chance at the semis if they can win against Christian Community tonight. As Cornett goes on the right side, Eli Cornett brought down by Weeks for a gain of about 2 yards on the play. 3rd down and 5.
So in say South Haven doing all that playoff celebration could have been premature. Lighthouse would have won. It's
very possible because, again, it's a coin. Well, they were celebrating because it was a must-need win to keep their chances alive.
No,
because
they were saying playoff bound.
Yeah, they were thinking playoff bound, and we were thinking it potentially as well. But the case is Lighthouse has to win to force the coin toss. As a timeout called by the Knights, 9:14 left to go in the 3rd quarter. It's a 14-0 lead for FCA. So after the FCS timeout, it's 3rd and 4 for the Knights as Cornett hands it off. It's 34, Joshua Sperry staying on his feet and diving all the way down to the 15. Trying to see where he spots it here. Down to the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Yeah, I bet the coach, FCS's coach really lit a fire in their butts, letting them know, listen, if we want to play another game, we have to win this.
Yeah, because FCS, their only chance here, even though they don't control their own destiny, their only chance to be able to go to the playoffs is if they win this game. If they lose, if FCS loses, there's no scenario as a huge sack by Hayden Weeks. Huge bring up in the backfield, actually, off of Joshua Pace. But if FCS loses in any scenario, and see, if they lose and Webb wins, they're out because St. Andrew Swanee has a tiebreaker over them. If they lose, Christian Community score update, 1 minute left of the second quarter, they're leading 50-20. So Lighthouse at least has the accomplishment of putting the most points up on Christian Community of any team this season, and still continuing that, down by 30 going into the half.
Best team in MTech.
It's possible, very possible. But in any scenario, actually, if FCA wins and Swanee wins against Webb, then they still have a chance for the coin toss. As here's Jaden Frazier on the right side, cutting in. Weeks bringing him down in the backfield at the 19-yard line. So a gain of several yards on the play. It's 3rd down and 12.
A lot of movement for, like, what, 2 yards?
Yeah, there's a lot of movement to try and get some gain on the play there. But yeah, if FCS loses this game, they will be Swanee fans, because if Swanee wins, it's a 3-way coin toss. Well, actually, no. If FCS loses in if FCS loses in either scenario, they're out. They don't have a bowl game. They don't have a chance at the semis, unfortunately.
Well, crap.
Trent trying to bottle flip there is Cornett. Looking for a pass, scrambling around the pocket, going on the left side. Cornett with a toss in the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone for a touchback. That was an interception by Andrew Schindel, and the Falcons will have it on the 20.
It looks like Cornett likes to throw the ball right before he gets hit. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to take a sack, which hurts him. Well, probably hurt him sometimes, because that was the second time where he just threw it up.
Yeah, so Cornett just looks like he could have tried throwing it out of bounds there. Interception. So the Falcons take it over. Actually, they take it over at the 2-yard line. He wasn't in the end zone for the touchback there, so the Falcons needing to be careful here. So 1st and 10 here for FCA with 7:10 left to go in the 3rd. And here's a rush up the middle. There's a rush, looks like, by Schindel. So 2nd down and 4. Good gain on the play for Andrew Schindel.
6 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 4.
Now, here's 2nd down. Here's Schindel on the left side, getting a good run. Chased down by Frazier. Tackled at the 13-yard line. And they will rule him for a 3rd down. Just waiting for the ball to be spotted there. It's 3rd down.
You know who Frazier reminds me of? John Stock.
Looks like
Just by the way he can get to sideline to sideline.
it'll be 3rd.
Actually, right about that. You give a good comparison there. Nothing else I can say on that, but I mean, you give a good comparison there. As it's 3rd down and 1.
Comparing him to the best middle linebacker in the league.
Arguably, of course.
No.
In Trent's opinion, not arguably. As a rush up the middle, looks like he's going to be stopped shy of the 1st down marker. Actually brought back for a loss of 2 yards on the play. It's 4th down and 3.
Want that safety. The board. He wants the points.
Yeah.
They're doing everything that they can to just get what they can get. I'm so sorry.
So 4th down here. Looks like the Falcons are going to punt it away. The Falcons going to punt it away with 5:16 left in the 3rd. They lead 14-0 over the Knights. Plenty of time left for Franklin Classical to make a comeback. Flag's thrown. Looks like it will be delay of game.
Did you read that?
There's a flag on the play.
Waiting on the official to rule the flag, actually. And, yes, it is a delay of game, so they'll move it back 5 yards.
It's a loud whistle.
They'll spot it at the 5-yard line, so likely FCA will punt it away.
If you're FCS, you're going to rush everybody. Because even if you don't, I mean, you're going to rush everybody.
It looks like they've got a man on the outside and Minor in the back in the end zone. Is likely to, and they will punt it away because you don't want to take that risk. As the ball bounces all the way to the 43-yard line, touchdown by Duncan.
That's why I said they should have just rushed everybody at the gate. Because, you know, they're going to punt it. They got, like, what, 15 yards to get a punt off? Rush everybody.
And they only rushed 7 men on that play as the Knights take over in Falcon territory.
They didn't rush 7. They rushed, like, 4.
Yeah, it looks like they could have had a lot more men going towards to try and get that safety.
I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not surprised. I passed high school with a 1.7 GPA. But I was a football player, so it makes sense.
But your school didn't care about football.
No, they sure as heck don't care. They could throw it in a toilet and flush it on the toilet. Wait, they did.
Jeez. Trent spreading the love in the facetious sense. As the Knights now back on offense. Here's a rush on the left side. Jaden Frazier with a first down and more.
That's someone that wants to win.
Jaden Frazier certainly wanting to lead his team to victory here at Fred Lane Field. Under 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. They're down by 14. So it's a 1st and 10 for Classical.
They're number 1 and number 82. They want to win. Not seeing a lot of that from a lot of their other players, but they're showing that they really want to win.
Yeah, Frazier and James, both players as seniors, really wanting to have a chance at that playoff, and it's very well that they can. If Swanee holds up against Webb, which I don't know if we have any scoring updates yet, and flags thrown, I believe they'll call this delay of game. We'll see what they call here. It is a delay of game on the offense, so they'll move it back 5 yards for 1st and 15.
It is so cold.
Now, here's the deal. If Swanee beats Webb, that score holds up, and FCS wins here, if they make a comeback, they are in the bowl game guaranteed. But FCS, they're in the bowl game guaranteed if they win and Swanee wins. Now, if Webb wins and FCS wins, Webb gets first seed, and it's a coin toss for second place. And here's a rush up the middle. 34, Joshua Sperry, hitting about 14 yards on the play. We'll see. Actually, they'll spot it at about a 13-yard gain. It's now 2nd down and 4.
Gosh, it is so cold. I'm freezing. I have nothing else to wear. Wow, you call me fat? You call me fat? Spencer, you call me fat? I'm leaving. You know what? I'm just going to do. Yeah, got nothing to say.
2nd and 4. 2nd and 4. Frazier with the direct snap on the right side, weaving through to the 19-yard line. Gain of a few yards on the play. And they'll move the chains for a first down. It's down to the 18.
Well, it's smart that they changed the quarterback because this cornet just wasn't working out for him. And such a big game, you know, you can't take chances. So, you know, good thing that they put Frazier in the backfield, let him get some direct snaps. It seems like it's been working because they're actually marching up the field right now.
The Knights trying everything they can to fight for their spot in either a semi or in the bowl game, but it's not dependent on them. As a rush up the middle, here's 7. Joshua Pace for the touchdown.
That was a good run. I guess I'm telling you, this team they're coming back and they're fighting. They want to get this. They want to get this W, and they want someone to get their W. They are just wanting this win. Probably more of just because they can brag to FCA, you know, during the All-Star game. Hey, losers.
Now, they are wanting Swanee to win if they want FCA to be knocked out of the playoffs, but they're wanting Webb to win so they have a chance at the semis, as a two-point conversion is no good. 14-6 to score with 2:53 left to go in the third quarter. The Knights keeping it interesting here in Franklin.
And they need that 2-point. Oh, I'm sorry that you can't do it.
Into the kickoff.
What would you do with that?
So the Knights, I would have a boring broadcast if I didn't have you or James here. Yes, I've had one non-Trent broadcast, and I remember those days when I commentated for FCA games. As here's 30 for the Falcons, going on the left side of almost avoiding a tackle there. Good rush by Michael Griggs. So the Falcons have the ball on the 35-yard line in their own territory.
Christian Academy will take over.
As the Falcons back on offense. The Knights keeping it interesting, only down by 8.
I think I mentioned that 2-point conversion that they missed was huge, because now they're wanting to tie it now, and if they miss that one, well,
then they have to score essentially because they don't have anybody on their field goal team, so they have to get a 2-point conversion. But Buchanan takes it on the right side. Buchanan on his feet, weaving through. Buchanan to the 50-yard line. And another first down for the Falcons as they're at midfield, but Buchanan looks like he's down.
Oh, no.
John Buchanan down at the 48-yard line. So Shaka Hill coming by to look at him. It's John Buchanan. Injury timeout.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you can't do that either.
Buchanan on his feet at least. Good sign. And the Falcons down one of their rushers.
It'll be interesting to see if they bring it back out, chance for a re-injury or whatever it was, or they just keep them. Maybe they think they got this secured and taken away, and they just want to keep them fresh for later games.
Buchanan hobbling over to the bench so he'll be looked at by the medical staff. As it's 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line in Knights territory, the Falcons marching down the field. There's a rush by Weeks. Hayden Weeks on the right side, staying on his feet for another first down. Extra yard on top of that. It's down to the 39-yard line. The Falcons trying to get another score here before the end of the third quarter.
Can we talk about how fast this game is going? Remember last time we were here when they faced Sewanee? I'm like, that took a little bit of a while, but this game.
Well, that was partially your fault because you said on the show that Sewanee never passed, and then they passed.
Yeah, I do take full blame on that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You basically are the reason FCS lost to Swanee because you said about the pass thing. One could argue that, of course, that Schindel goes on the right side. Andrew Schindel trying to get to the first down marker, gets a little bit more, forced down by several players. Is at the 27-yard line, another first down for FCA.
I like watching this game. You know, you got two sides that really want to win. They know this. Well, you know how high this game is. You know, like it's a rival game, so that's added on to it. So it's like the best game you're gonna see. This might be kind of close to a championship caliber, just intensity type game, and I'm loving that. I see both sides, they really both want it.
We'll see if we have any score updates from James Shannon yet on who's played. Yeah, I was about to say, it's been a while. So as the toss in the middle is incomplete and it'll be second down, Swanee is leading 26-7 with 9 minutes left in the fourth. So if that holds, if Swanee beats Webb, then the result is either a three-way coin toss if FCA wins, or Swanee will get first place with Webb second in FCS Bowl. Bowling Green leading 52-0 with 6 minutes left in the game. And no update as Christian Community leading 50-20 with a minute left in the second. That was as of 18 minutes ago, so we haven't gotten an update for Christian Community. But if the score on Swanee holds, an FCA win would force a coin toss, and an FCS win would get them the slot in the bowl game. If that score holds up, of course. As Schindel cuts to the left. Andrew Schindel into the end zone. Touchdown, Falcons.
You gotta be on your toes for everything. I think they sent in the blitz right there, right up the middle, try to stop them, crack them at the line, and then they just bounced it on the outside. Not really bounced it, they just went on the outside.
Good score, 26 now.
Yeah, so looking here, again, as we said, in any scenario, if FCS loses, they are unfortunately out of the bowl game or even playoff contention. But if they win, then they have a chance at getting either to the bowl or to the playoff. That's dependent on if they win and Swanee wins, then they're in the bowl game.
We can talk about this a little bit. Look about how far FCS has come since last season. I mean, last season, look at the record, and then now look at them having a chance for a bowl game. That's crazy.
Yeah, last year they had to play a game that didn't count against Hendersonville Christian, who was then co-opted with the Tennessee Heat. So they had to play a game during the playoffs week that didn't account for anything, just to get one more game in the season for their then seniors, the class of 2017. The timeouts called by FCA before their two-point conversion attempt. Right now, 20-6 with a minute 42 left to go in the third. And you're right, Trent, with the with what happened last year with FCS, for them to come this far and be eligible for a bowl and only to lose to two teams, maybe three depending on how this game goes, but to only put down so many losses and still to be dominant, and especially to hold, as you say, the Alabama of MTAC, to hold them 28-6. I mean, that at least amounts to something.
Yeah, good job, Clemson.
Basically, you're saying that Clemson, of course. So the timeout break coming back here. So the Falcons will try a two-point conversion attempt, and it'll make it even more difficult for the Knights to come back here as they need 14 points. They need 14 as of now to tie it up, but it may be 16. They may need both two-point conversions on their next drive.
They're going to need every point they can scrounge up.
Yep.
Safeties, two-point conversions, touchdowns, field goals.
Even though they don't have anyone to kick field goals, they may need field goals. So here's a rush on the right side for Weeks, and here's Schindel into the end zone for the two-point conversion. 22-6 with a minute 42 left to go in the third quarter. The Falcons leading over the Knights.
1:42 left in the third quarter.
So kick attempt here for Duncan and the Falcons. Of course, Ben Duncan has not had any action on the extra point side tonight. Usually we've seen him kick extra points. You're right, Trent. He may be cold. It's a nice chilly night here in Franklin. They do kick it short. It goes 10 yards and out of bounds. So they'll place the ball at the I believe the 40-yard line is where they place it here for the 50 by 100. So they will place the ball. Actually, I believe they place it where it went out of bounds. So at the 39-yard line, that's where the Knights will start out their drive in their own territory.
You should mention is Eli Cornett is on the sideline right now.
Yeah, Eli Cornett, it looks like a little bit shooken up there. Not sure if he's injured or if Coach Witherington just trying to do everything he can to give his team a chance at the playoff.
It's that one that you just said.
I think it might have been a coach benching there. Not entirely sure, but we'll see how the game progresses as Frazier out of bounds at the 42-yard line for second down, and actually they move it up here. They spot it at the 42, looking for where the official is going to call it. Yes, the 42-yard line, so about second down and 7. So Bowling Green victorious over Madisonville 52-6. So that's the final in that game. That not influential on any playoffs, of course, with Bowling Green getting another victory on their season. If someone does forfeit in the North, it is, and you're right. As it's handed off, ball is handled a little bit there, almost fumbled by the Knights, but Joshua Sperry able to rush it up to the 46-yard line. This is now 3rd down and 3.
That could have been FCS. Pack your bags and let's just get on out of here already.
It's now 3rd down and 4.
Sagging a little bit.
This is why you don't wear shorts to a football broadcast, Trent. We've learned our lesson from this. So here is Frazier taking the ball again, running on the left side, avoiding some tackles. Frazier weaving through. He'll get the first down and more as he's across midfield and in Falcon territory.
Falcons territory.
They're stopping the clock to place the ball. It'll start running down at 49.7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. So the Knights have just over 12 minutes left to go in regulation. They're trying to get 14 points to tie it up here. So the 2-point conversions will be crucial, as you said, Trent, but it's going to be a very interesting offensive game for the Knights to try and come back from here.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to mash it down on that gas pedal because you really got to hope that he can stop that FCA's. Oh, that wasn't good again.
And there's a rush. Called for forward progress. Joshua Pace trying to take the rush there. So, loss of several yards on the play, 2nd down and 13. And it looks like they will just run down the clock, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter, 22-6. The Falcons lead over the Knights. Not sure if the Knights have it in them to come back, but they need 14 to tie it.
Same thing.
Here's the start of the fourth quarter as the Knights switch the field. Here's a rush by 34. Joshua Sperry staying on his feet and down at the 30-yard line. Joshua Sperry able to rush it down efficiently. And the Knights are now in Falcon territory, 10 yards outside the red zone.
Someone just got put in the spin cycle right there.
Yeah. Spin cycle there. And the clock continues down as the Knights are trying to make it back here, down by 14. Here's a rush on the right side. Fake pass. Quibido not able to make the tackle. Rush. Frazier staying on his feet. Jaden Frazier just short of the first down marker. And it looks like we have a player down on the Falcons side. Looks like a cramp for one of the Falcons, trying to see which player it is from the distance.
You got an injury timeout.
It looks like it could be.
Looks like it could be Ben Duncan. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like it may be number 10. I'm not sure. Can't see the player from here. It may be Ben Duncan. Hayden Weeks was actually the player who was down. He's being taken to the sideline to be looked at. It's an unfortunate loss at a crucial time for the Falcons.
And I'm just looking on the sideline right now. It looks like Cornette actually is hurt. It wasn't a decision. But, you know, it's kind of in favor of FCS, though, because they're certainly moving the ball a lot better since they changed quarterbacks.
Yeah, they've improved at least a little bit more, still down by 14. And here's Frazier. Hands it off. Up the left side as a rush made by Joshua Pace. And he'll get the first down in the red zone on the 16-yard line.
There is a fire that isn't being able to put out, no matter how much water or how much they're trying to suffocate at FCA. Because that fire is just going to be still burning with FCS.
Under 11 minutes left in regulation as the Falcons try to hold their ground. And the Knights try to make a comeback. Frazier fakes the handoff, switching it over to the right side, almost brought down in the backfield. Quibido trying to make the stop, and he does. Quibido credited for the sack. Huge loss for the Knights on second down.
Remember when I talked about their D-line, how it's probably the best in MTAC? Your D-lineman's getting like a sack for like 15-yard loss or something.
Yeah, Quibido.
I'm going to take a 15-yard loss back.
Yeah, Quibido not able to wrap up and make the actual tackle there, but credited for it. He was trying to bring down Frazier.
He would have got it.
Here's second, looks like about second and 22 for the Knights.
Let's go. Let's go.
So a flag thrown, I believe they'll call delay of game on the offense. So second and 27 for Classical.
Not good for them.
That'll back the Knights up 5 yards. So that'll be second and 27. 9:50 left in the game.
So 9:50 left to go in regulation. Now here's Frazier, fakes the handoff. Frazier looking for the pass on the right side, trying to find 10 in through the hands of the Falcons player, Sonny Reed. Harlow, the intended receiver.
Probably could have been an argue of offensive pass interference. Looked like he kind of pushed his back when he went up for the ball.
And potentially could have been called there, but was not. It was now third down and 27 for the Classical Knights. And Christian Community, with 10 minutes left in the third, leads 58-20 over Lighthouse. So if that score stands, and Christian Community will host the semi, and the coin toss, of course, will determine who they host, and South Haven will be traveling for the playoff to the number 1 seed in the North. It's a short catch in onto the 35-yard line. Joshua Sperry with the reception. It's now 4th down and long. Now, of course, as a coach, with the amount of time you have left, I'm sure that you go for it here on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get everything you can. I mean, there's always a chance. Like, if you don't get this, you only got 9 minutes to score it again, and you got to stop them and them having the ball. You got to go for it.
9 minutes left in the game, and winding down, the Knights trying to get another score on the board on 4th and 27. Fake pass. Frazier is just going to take the rush, and he's brought down at the 41-yard line, and the Falcons turnover on downs. Not sure why you chose to run it there when you needed to gain 27 yards.
Yeah, maybe questionable play calling. Maybe coach seen something on the past couple of plays they thought he could, whatever that smart word is. You got 2 big injuries on your team. 82, I'm pretty sure that's Jack James, correct? And then Eli Cornett's down as well. So they're both out, and that's 2 good offensive players, the people that know how to move the ball, that's not being able to get minutes for the game. So that's something big you can say.
So rush by Buchanan up the middle. Buchanan back in the game is a very good sign. There's the whistle blown, and he's called for forward progress at the 45-yard line. It's now 2nd down and 5. It's always a good sign when an injured player comes back into the game.
Pretty good.
As the clock winds down. Buchanan in the backfield. It's an I formation for Franklin Christian. And yes, 58-20 with 10 minutes left. That's the last scoring update I think we got. 58-20 with 10 minutes left in the third. Christian Community leads Lighthouse as Buchanan is brought down the 49-yard line. He'll be spotted just short before the first down. Well, actually, the official spotting it at the 48-yard line, so it's a first down for the Falcons. First down in Knights territory.
Hurry up and spot that ball. It's over. What? I'm freezing. And I'm hungry. Just complaining about life.
So a lot of the game's still in the third quarter by the scoring updates. Bowling Green's game is done. Webb's game is not done yet. We haven't gotten an update on that, but Christian Community's still in the third quarter.
Game.
Yeah, Webb and Swanee's game more of, yes.
Oh, there goes that ball.
And here's Schindel hands it off. There's Weeks all the way up. Weeks staying on his feet. Takes almost the entire Knights squad to bring him down at the 28-yard line. Hayden Weeks with a carry and a first down.
Man, when you got that many weapons in your backfield, you got to use them. I mean, they just used 2 plays, a dominant runner in Buchanan. And then, your defense, they're kind of tired, but then you got fresh legs to be able to go back in to that backfield Weeks and just run the ball. And then once he gets tired, you got Schindel on just a QB draw. I mean,
another I formation for the Falcons on 1st and 10. Schindel hands it off to Weeks again. Hayden Weeks weaving through the defense. Managing to stay on his feet to about the 19-yard line, I believe just shy of the first down. See how they spot it here. Yep, it'll be 2nd down and 1, a 9-yard gain for Hayden Weeks.
1 for the Falcons. Oh, they're marking a first down.
Looks like the just over 6 minutes left in regulation. again, I formation for the Falcons. They try running down the clock, and Weeks going to rush it up the middle. It was 1st and 10. They actually called it for the first down there, not 2nd and 1. So it's now 2nd and 9. About a 1-yard gain.
5:53 counting.
So time called. Looks like a timeout called by the Falcons. With 5:20 left to go in regulation, the Falcons lead by 14 over the Knights. The final score from St. Andrew Sewanee, a 26-13 ball game. The Mountain Lions win over Webb. So if the score holds up here and FCA wins, it'll be a 3-way coin toss for 1st place, 2nd place, and the bowl. And we will do our best to broadcast that. We actually heard from the league administrator, Jenna Jones, that they will be conducting that tomorrow morning, I believe at the Webb School. So if they are conducting that, we will be there to broadcast it live and do that. As a rush by Schindel on the left side, Andrew Schindel weaving through the defense, and Andrew Schindel is into the end zone for a Falcons touchdown.
I would say that was a great run, great ball carry vision by Schindel right there. As you saw him weaving, trying to just get into, get 6 back on the board. And I feel like if FCS doesn't answer right here, this might be a game.
Yeah, if we see a 2-point conversion there, it may very well be. We very well could say that it'll be the end of the game for Franklin Classical, as it is very difficult to come back from a 22. Right now, it's a 22-point deficit, likely a 24-point deficit if this 2-point conversion is made. Well, actually, they're just going to kick the extra point here, so that'll make it a 33-point game, which is still several scores, and the extra point is good. 29-6 to score with 5:08 left to go in the 4th quarter. The Falcons trying to wrap it up here in Franklin. Ben Duncan kicking off for the Knights with 5:08 left to go in regulation. And an onside kick attempt, and it goes 10 yards. And it's loose. The referee rules. The Falcons recover it. The Falcons get the ball with 4:59 left to go in the quarter. The Knights just unable to recover the onside kick.
Falcons take over at the 42 of the
So, what do you say, Spencer? Game set and done, or?
It very well looks like that because a 3-score game is very hard to come back from with 5 minutes left in regulation. Especially the Knights.
Takes about 2 minutes off the clock.
Yep, it does. So it's and I believe the Falcons will just try to run it. We'll just run it out here. So unfortunately, again, as you said earlier in the broadcast, the Knights, they had a great run to come back from what happened to them last season on playing a game that didn't even amount to anything. They at least got some victories on their season and just lost in crunch times, especially since they lost to 2 against Webb. Now, if they had won against Webb and held up their defense in Bell Buckle, then it may be a whole different story here. They may at least have guaranteed the bowl game, but unfortunately, they do not have that guaranteed now with this loss. They wouldn't even have it guaranteed necessarily. So it's going to be interesting to see how FCA goes in the coin toss because they're at least guaranteed a bowl game if the score holds, of course, which likely it will with a 23-point lead.
If they score this, and
if they score here, then it's ball game.
Well, I want it for the seniors on FCS just to make it close. Just get about 2 more in, just so they can feel like they did what they came out feeling like they left the game with everything they had. That's all I want for the seniors. If this is their last game, I want them to at least say that we gave it our all.
Schindel runs it up the middle for a gain of several yards on the play. And the clock continuing to wind down. No final score updates yet. So Bowling Green victorious, Suwannee victorious, and likely Christian Community victorious, depending on how that final score results.
And fun fact, I never played my last regular season game.
Yeah,
I got thrown out.
You've mentioned this on broadcast before, Trent. We've heard it plenty of times from you. But yes, you didn't play your last regular season game. But lucky enough for all of the players on the Knights squad to be able to play their final game at least together. Well, potentially their final game because we don't know if they'll schedule another game against Hendersonville like they did last year. It's possible because they've always possible is what they've done before. As Buchanan goes up the middle. Buchanan is off to the end zone for a Falcons touchdown. And that will essentially do it with 3:03 left to go in the game. And
2 minutes exactly off the clock.
Yep, it did take 2 minutes exactly. Yep, touchdown for the Falcons, and this will essentially wrap it up. Unfortunately, doesn't look like any chance for the Knights to come back here, Trent.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it. The only thing I'm hoping now is for all the seniors to say they gave it their all in their last game.
All right, so after this 2-point conversion attempt, we'll take the tripod and head down to the field so that we can get the post-game interviews as well as get the post-game huddles and such and talk to both coaches about the scenario that we have.
The Bugs have been listed of appearance in this game, though.
Yeah, the Bugs have not. Yeah, the last game, we mentioned it on broadcast last time with Suwannee and FCS. The Bugs were not as prevalent here on this edge. I think it's because it's colder. It was a lot warmer game when we were here for the Suwannee FCS game. Yeah, though, most of the Bugs are not by the lights. It's too cold outside for them, Trent. Yeah. All right, so the extra point kick, 36-6. We're going to head down to the field. So be sure to stay looking at the broadcast, but don't mind us moving down. So we're down on the field now. If you're still sticking with us, thanks for tuning in. The Falcons are trying to knee it down and run down the clock as much as they can. There's a victory here for the Falcons, just trying to stay in victory formation.
Did they have enough time? No. Second down.
So the Falcons just trying to knee it out here and completely run down the clock and omit any further chance for the Knights to make a comeback here. So the least you could say of this is that the Knights fought hard in some ways because they held the Falcons to no score in the first quarter and were only down, I believe, 14-0 at the half. So they at least did some things, but their offense just didn't perform well, Trent.
Well, I would say the player of the game was Frazier. I mean, he's a senior, correct?
Yes, Jaden Frazier is a senior.
He played a heck of a game for his last one.
Yeah, potentially his last one because we don't know if Hendersonville and FCS will schedule a game in the week during the semis.
Now you tell me this?
Well, because this happened last year, is that they weren't going to play a playoff game, and they decided, you know what, let's have a game because nobody else is going to play us or something. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. CCS is leading 64-20, so likely the scenario will be CCS heading to the first place spot in the North and hosting the number 2 seed in the South, which to be determined by that coin toss that'll happen tomorrow, Saturday night. So we'll get interviews with both coaches, of course, Coach Witherington and Coach Adams after the game. And we'll wrap it up here for tomorrow going into Extreme Radio. So 1:32 left. There was a timeout called by FCA to try and run down the clock as much as they can. It is 3rd down and 11. And there's Trent, as you can see him looking at the field there. So Falcons lead by 30, trying to wrap it up here at Fred Lane Field. Now, since the North is essentially locked up, Trent, and we know the 3 teams that are either going in the South, what matchups do you want to see for the semis and the bowl game?
CCS, FCA. I want to watch that rematch. I think it's going to be a way better rematch.
All right. Who would you rather see against South Haven, Webb or Swanee?
Swanee.
All right, so based on your guess, you're thinking FCA is number 2. You're thinking Swanee number 1. And
well, I'm saying that's the games I would want to see,
okay,
not what I think.
All right, what do you think it's going to come down to?
Well, actually, yeah, it's going to be Swanee's first, and then yeah,
just Swanee first. That's all you've got there.
And FCA second, and I think Webb is going to drop down to the bowl game.
Just by the luck of the coin toss, it's possible. It's very possible. Why'd you be right with tomorrow by making these random guesses the night before? Why'd you be completely 100% accurate?
I really think FCA deserves it because they came into this year going 0-2, and then look where they are now. They deserve to be in some place higher than just a bowl game.
They certainly do with the way that they've been playing, and you could say the same about Swanee or Webb as how they fought, with Swanee going 5-0 and only having one loss on their season to FCA, actually, to my knowledge. Yes, they've only had one loss in their season, just as Webb has only had one loss, and FCA has only had one in-division loss. As we're talking about in-division losses, of course. 40 seconds left in the game. We're about to head onto the field.
Sorry about my complaining.
Yes, it is a cold night here in Franklin.
It's a nice Halloween night.
Well, Halloween is actually coming right around the corner. That'll be
and The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Walking Dead is coming.
Starts this Sunday.
Yeah,
but I miss it because of the show.
Or you could DVR it. You'll miss it live, but you can DVR it.
That's what I did all year long.
Yeah.
Good news.
Don't you dare talk about the Timberwolves here.
Timberwolves up by 2, 27 seconds left to
go. Basketball players playing hard.
Hey, y'all talk about NFL during the show at the beginning. I get my rights.
Yes, exactly, and they are going to rush it here. Punt it out. Short punt by Schindel. And Rutland out to the 20-yard line. They'll touch it down there, and the clock stopped.
What?
Yeah, clock stopped at 29.6 seconds. Just a warning, phone battery is down to 10%, so it may die on us during the interviews. We'll try and expedite them as much as we can. But we'll try to expedite them as much as we can, but if the camera dies midstream, you all know we're running down on battery here.
What the frick? What the frick? How do you turn on your brightness?
It's all the way down. It's already all the way down. It looks like timeout called, I believe by FCS. We're not sure why the timeout was called there.
They're probably trying to get all the seniors in, let them play their last drive all together.
So likely they're potentially their last drive, as we all know, because things can change in MTAC. They can schedule last-minute games, and
there could be 4 more weeks left.
yeah, they could play 4 more games until the All-Star game. Who knows? We'll see how that works. So they may be gearing up for the All-Star game or gearing up for basketball season for Franklin Classical.
Looks like they have everyone besides Jane.
Yep, so they're getting all the seniors in. 29.6 seconds left in regulation here as we're awaiting the final 1 or 2 plays for Classical.
Final play if they take a knee.
I don't think that Classical will take a knee here. They don't want to completely surrender as we head to the end of regulation here. So 29.6 seconds to go. And
you know what I want to see? I want to see them like doing that trickery, like lateral. Like finish your game off with a laugh.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they can do here. It's 29.6 seconds. Here's the snap, a handoff ball loose, 21 picks it up, and he's brought down for some game there, and the clock winding down, and I believe FCS may try one more play here.
So there will be a coin toss.
Yep, it's official. 36-6, the final score. Franklin Christian wins over Franklin Classical, and a coin toss will be forced for the MTAC South.
Oh, you got it? Oh, thank you, buddy.
So we're going to head to the middle of the field. Trent taking a little bit to grab the camera. But we're heading to the middle of the field. The handshake's being given in just a few seconds. So we'll get an interview with Coach Seth Witherington and Coach Steve Adams after their post-game huddle here.
Sorry about the shakiness.
Yeah, we apologize for the shakiness all game. The bleachers, you know, constantly walked on. They're called a redneck press box, as we put it, the same way at Lighthouse. So the Falcons victorious.
Spencer, did you see my belly jiggle? How's it going, man? How's it going, Spencer? I love you. Sexy as always, you too.
So the players mixing it up. We'll get the interviews just momentarily.
Usually go talk to him after. Oh well.
Real quick, everybody, and listen up. I know I want to try to get y'all out of here as quick as possible. First of all, great effort on both parts. I know, Steve, you guys over at FCA, we were talking a little bit before the game. You know, both teams are pretty much put together with duct tape and bubble gum right now. So everybody's kind of stringing it together, but congratulations to you guys on getting the victory. I know it guarantees you at least a chance to advance, see what happens. So guys, just keep working. Best of luck to you. You listen to your coaches and finish this thing. You worked too hard to get to this point, so you might as well keep it going now. There's no reason to stop now. All right, Coach, you got anything?
Hey guys, great effort. I know FCA, FCS is sloppy knock and didn't disappoint. I know you guys tried as hard as you could. That's what coaches ask. All we can ask you guys to do is talk earlier about we can't go up and do it for you. We tell you how to do it. And ask you guys to go out there and give it everything. Both sides gave it everything, and it's just the way it ends up. I appreciate you guys having us over here, and I appreciate the sportsmanship, good sportsmanship. I know you guys are banged up like we are. Hey, we'll see y'all again next year, right? Come back and do it again. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Tell you what, Ray, would you lead us in a prayer? Touch somebody, fella.
So we'll get Coach Steve Adams and Coach Seth Witherington in just a moment on camera. We'll get their post-game interviews, hopefully before the camera dies down to 6% battery. And again, with FCA's victory, it's a coin toss for who gets first, second, and the bowl slot in the MTAC South. It's up in the air, 33% chance to get first place and a 50% chance to get second place or the bowl. So we'll get both coaches in just a moment. They're talking, of course, with Headmaster Hugh Harris of Franklin Christian Academy over there. And we'll get both of them in just a few moments. Swanee beat Webb 26-13, so it's a coin toss for first, second, and bowl.
Well, you know, you guys would do a better job of piecing together.
Yep. So we'll get Coach Witherington in just a moment, and Coach Adams will be on camera as well. So we'll talk to both of them. And there's Brandon Wild Cheesy Minor, one of the stars of the game, man.
Hey.
Best interview I've ever had. Just hey from Wild Cheesy Minor.
See y'all later.
The better interviews here on 8-Man Extreme. And again, the North is set. Christian Community is well, actually, any scoring updates, Trent? What do we got? Any scoring updates from James? So no scoring updates. If the score holds out, Christian Community hosts a semi. South Haven travels for a semi, and Lighthouse will be in the bowl if the score holds up. So Coach Seth Witherington on camera now. Coach, it is sad to see you guys have lost and no chance at the bowl now, unfortunately eliminated. But the one thing you can at least tell your guys is that they held FCA 0-0 the first quarter, only were down by 14. So you at least had the opportunity to come back and such, and you held them to a lower score.
Yeah, I can't say enough about how hard my team played tonight. You know, that's you go out there and you talk about X's and O's and all these things, but at the end of the day, it's really about heart, and my kids showed tonight. They didn't quit. Obviously, the score's not what we wanted to see, but, you know, there again, hindsight's 20/20 always, banged up with some injuries, things we could have done differently. And we talked before the game about big plays. FCA's first 2 touchdowns at least came off plays that were 40, 50 yards long. So it was big plays there, and we didn't make enough plays tonight. But and hats off to FCA too. They earned it as well. So
now you did this last year. You played Hendersonville in the week of the semis. Any word on that? Any confirmation you guys are going to have one more last hurrah with your seniors?
To be honest, we haven't even talked about that. That has never been brought up. You know, I love playing football. I play football all year long. We'll schedule games in the spring if anybody wants to play. But, you know, I think as much as it would be, I want the seniors to have a chance maybe to play one more game. But we got a lot of guys banged up. And we play this game for an opportunity to advance. And we had opportunities this year to make plays to help us advance, and we didn't make those plays. So I feel like it's a little bit unfair to the teams that did make those plays as well for us to have a game that night. Not that it would take any crowd away from them. It's just they earned a right to play next Friday night, and I think we should owe them that to go out
All right,
and play.
well, thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations on the record in your season. Even though you didn't make the playoffs, you guys performed well, and you gave us some good games that we broadcast for you guys as well. So
I just want Spencer and Trent and James, you guys, I say this every week, and I mean it. Every time I see you guys and talk to you, I can't thank you guys enough for what y'all do for 8-man football. You guys coming out and giving your time up on Friday nights and Saturday nights sometimes and devoting to these kids to get them the exposure that they've never gotten before, and it means a lot, and I know they appreciate it and I appreciate it. So
as always, it's guys like you and the coaches who help us help make what we do possible, but we appreciate the gesture. Thank you so much, man, and best of luck to you next season.
Thank you, guys.
So we'll get Steve Adams on camera in just a moment. Trent's going to go get Steve Adams on camera here. So before our camera dies down here. All right, here comes Steve Adams, the victorious coach. So, Steve, we'll talk about the playoff scenarios in just a minute, but a big, much-needed win to keep your playoff hopes alive here at Fred Lane Field. At halftime, you were only leading 14-0. You guys got held to no points in the first quarter. What did you tell the guys going into halftime?
Well, of course, give them credit. They came out with that onside kick, bounced off my guy's leg, and they got on it. And then they were just playing really good defense. I mean, that's what it really came down to. Of course, we turned it over at least once or twice, I think. So we were helping them out a little bit. Once we got it in rhythm and got going and got our quarterback some rhythm, then we were able to put some points on the board. So.
And now with Swanee winning 26-13 over Webb and you guys winning against FCS, it does come down to a coin toss for first, second, and third in the MTAC South. Now, obviously, we've talked about it weeks and weeks of the coin toss shouldn't be the third scenario, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. 33% chance of you guys being first seed and hosting it, then 50-50 between being a bowl or second chance if you don't second place if you don't get that. But at least this is a much needed victory. You guys are at least joyous that you at least have one more game to play with.
Absolutely. And that's what I told the guys. I said all we can control is tonight. Can we win tonight? We've got to win this ball game tonight. And that's what we did. We went out and took care of what we could control, and tomorrow we'll find out, I guess, what our fate is as far as the playoff goes.
Yeah, well, congratulations on a must-needed win for you, Coach. We're ready to see you in either the bowl or the semis.
Thanks, Trent. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. All right, Trent. Trent, I don't know if you have any final words here to say, but we'll be broadcasting the coin toss tomorrow, of course. But I'm not sure if there's anything else really to say from this game, but they performed very well.
Coach has said it all. I don't got a single word to say.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up here from Fred Lane Field. The coin toss for the South tomorrow, and if the results stand, Christian Community hosts a game from the North, and South Haven travels, and Lighthouse goes to the Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, for 8-Man Extreme, on behalf of Trent Legate and James Shannon, I'm Spencer Tomsett. Be sure to tune into the broadcast tomorrow for the coin toss and for Extreme Radio on Sunday, built by MDI Construction Inc., where we'll preview the playoffs and highlight the games from this past weekend. Again, for Trent Legate and James Shannon, I'm Spencer Tomsett. Thank you and good night.